Yo, aloha. Welcome to the One Star Recruits podcast. Joined with my best friend of 25 years, Rip. We are one stars, getting better in life with the help of five-star humans from around the world. This week, it's the week of bend but don't break for the one stars. We're doing a dry January. No guests. That's what that means. Zero guests for the one star recruits. We're going to go the full month with just Rip and I, the superstars, the creme de la cremes, the chef's kiss of podcasting. Rip, how do you feel about a dry January?
I like it, man. I like that take. It's it's a good way to start the year with just more of us, man. Like you said a couple weeks ago, we've had some listeners out there request more of us. Surprisingly, we're the one stars, but we got we're five stars in some people's eyes. So we're getting more of us out there, and we're gonna do it more often this year.
And the truth is, it's been a hard time booking guests. Lots of stuff going on in life. And the beginning of the new year is like the beginning of the new year for everybody in life. People set new goals, have new expectations, new schedules, and it's a little bit of a tougher game. I would probably guess if you looked at 10 podcasters booking in the beginning of years, it's much more difficult as you move along. But we're going to be back. We'll be back, listeners. A real life situation this week with Rip, we'll talk about kind of a lemons to lemonade narrative is being written here. I have a non-serious life situation we'll hit on, but nevertheless, I felt all of my emotions this week during an epic meltdown, worse than Colin Morikawa at the Plantation Golf Course. It's just golf, but it felt like I fell into a tornado of shame this weekend, a classic case of setting unreal expectations, Rip. We have some good stuff, man. I'm going to kick it off with you, though. We're 3 weeks into 2023. We're getting better. Could be getting a little bit worse, but always worse and then better. That's the way that this thing goes. In real life, Rip, you got laid off. I'm just going to hit you. I'm going to hit our listeners. You got laid off. I want to ask you, man, and you can give a summary, but just off the bat, top 3 thoughts and feelings you went through when that call or email came through.
Honestly, yeah, first time I've ever been laid off in my whole life. I was at this job for 16 years, and really good job, good company, but these things happen. It's happened to a lot of people I know recently, and especially, through the pandemic, after the pandemic, and I think it's something you're going to see start happening a lot more with the workforce changing, a lot of people going to remote work and all that. But the top 3 feelings, I think, number one was honestly a little bit of relief. Like there's some issues that I had left hanging that I didn't have to take care of. So it was just a smooth cut, so it's someone else's problem now. That was one of the issues.
Amen.
Uh, so yeah, that was probably the number one overall feeling. Number two was, like what's next? Oh shit. Like that's the second feeling, obviously, is because you wake up every day with a routine and doing your job and a 9 to 5, and now it's just like what's next for me? What's going to happen at the end of the tunnel, and after the dust falls. And so that was number two. And I think number three was like really just a chance maybe for a new beginning, like it was overall positivity, because it's a shitty thing to happen, and it happens to a lot of people, like I said. But I think it's the way you react to those things is what makes a person. And what I'm always of a positive outlook, and that's the number one thing here. Is I was ready to roll within like 2 hours after that. I was on LinkedIn. I was reaching out to people, sending emails, and trying to plan the future. So that was I think that's the most important thing, is have a positive mindset on it. And so that's where I'm headed from here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really easy for people to go the opposite way and fall into why me. There's one thing I took from Cliff Kingsbury, who is no longer the head coach of the Cardinals. He got fired.
Fellow unemployed club. I may have to buy a one-way ticket to Thailand.
Yeah, mom in Tucson. He got fired, and then apparently he bought a one-way ticket to Thailand. Could be true, could not be true. Kind of a weird move. But Cliff Kingsbury got fired. I caught up on Hard Knocks. I finished the last episode this week. It's not my recommendation of the week. However, out of all the crap that he says and all the stuff that's just kind of filler words, I did really like it when Coach said things happen not to us, but for us. It applies. It's kind of generic, so you can apply it to everything, but it's really a simple paradigm switch in your mind. Sometimes you did immediately when you went through those feelings, and you can go one of two ways. Why me? I'm going to talk about a shitty golf story here in a little bit about me falling into a why me hole on a stupid game of golf. A 40-year-old man walking around hitting a little ball on some grass, the silliest ever. But it's crazy what our minds can do. Very powerful. I think you show maturity, man, and I also think you allowed the universe, even speaking through that just with your first initial feelings, is the universe is with you. I think you're exactly right, man. I think it was time. I think when you feel like relief is that first wave, I think you know you made the right decision.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and honestly, it's a situation where I was working for a small company and we got purchased by a larger company a couple years ago. So we kind of knew it might have been coming. And with the economy kind of taking a dive a little bit in the last 6 to 12 months, then the writing was on the wall a little bit. But I'm the kind of guy, man. I don't like change. I would have loved to work for the same company until I retired. Like it's not a lot of people do that nowadays. It's kind of an old school mentality. But I'm looking at it now. It's like I put 16 years in with that company. I got another 16 years with another company. I can match that and maybe be ready to retire then. So, like I said, man, it's all positive. It was as good as an ending as it could be, and getting laid off. And I'm ready to roll. Excited to see what's next, and just ready to work. Really, DK.
So there he is, ripped, ready to roll like Stu Feiner. Okay, we're 8-9 days from the relief and that news hitting us. I'm on the same page as you, but what are the three best things this week since being laid off that your eyes have opened up to? Three best things since you've been laid off.
Number one is that every time I woke up on a work day, I had emails already because I'm on the West Coast. I work with a lot of people on the East Coast. So, I was sometimes 20 emails deep, Slack messages, everything else. So all that got cut off last Wednesday. So I got none of that, so that's like you wake up in a better mind frame because you don't feel like you're behind the 8 ball. That's definitely number one. Number two is obviously a little bit more time with the kids. I was, an hour ago, I was at the playground with my 4-year-old. He's off school today, and I have had a lot of that time anyway, working from home over the past couple years since the pandemic. But any added time is just a bonus, and so I've had a little more of that over the last week. And number three, I think, is it kind of forces you to get creative with what you're doing. Like not only with the podcast, where it's kind of a new beginning with this too. It's this kind of follows our lives in a lot of ways. It mirrors what we're going through in life. Your golf game, my job, everything else. But so yeah, it's kind of forces you to get creative with different situations. Like where's the podcast go from here? What kind of guests do we want to bring on? And also, what do I want to do for my next job? I'm sending personal emails to companies I want to work for. So I feel like I have a little bit more control right now because this is the first time in my life I'd really have to made a big choice about work and what I want to do next outside of just, when I was starting my career. So it, like I said, allows you to be more creative with things and go the direction maybe you want to go.
You're in the driver's seat, bro. You're the man. I love you. I know you're going to land on your feet like a cat. You're driving the ship. It's not steering itself. I mean, you're the LeBron James. I'm still going to use LeBron because he's so good still. By the way, are you going to get out to the game? Is it Crypto Center now? Are we still calling it Crypto Center, Rip?
Crypto.com arena, formerly known as Staples Center.
Crypto.com arena. Mom in Tucson. LeBron James is on the Lakers. He's going to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the scoring title to be the top scorer ever, hopefully home in Los Angeles. So my question is, will Rip be in attendance for the one-star recruits?
That's a great question. A great topic for the pod because I live about 30 minutes drive from crypto.com. And it's really, to me, I mean, obviously in our lifetimes, it's happened once. Kareem broke the scoring record and it's been 30 years since that happened. So my 6-year-old's really into hoops right now. How hard should I try to be at that game where he breaks the record? I think it's right now it's looking like it could be a home game against the Thunder, a home game against the Bucks. They're both midweek games. Tickets are a little crazy because I think I'm not the only one thinking about this, but it's going to happen within the next 3 weeks if LeBron stays healthy. He just scored 48 the other night. The dude is incredible. Just 38 years old. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely on top of it. I'm kind of waiting till it gets a little closer because I don't want to spend a bunch of money on tickets and then have him get hurt. But that's always the risk you take. So I'm definitely in on it. I'm probably about 50-50 right now. But I think as it gets closer, I'll get a little more excited about it and maybe head down there to see that. Because seeing that in person, man, I don't we don't even have ticket stubs anymore. But seeing that in person would be a thing that you'll never forget. And do you think this is the last time we see that record broken in our lifetime? That's a question because we got all these guys coming up on his heels. KD, younger guys, Jason Tatum, like Devin Booker, like all these guys that are starting out young, scoring a lot of points. But it's the longevity, man, that you can't really predict. Do you think this is the last time we see that happen in our lifetimes?
Well, first and foremost, just my thoughts on you going to the game in LA. It's kind of an easy play for me because your kid does love basketball so much. You commit early to the cheaper game. They're both midweeks. Bucks are more expensive. They only come once to the West Coast, and people want to see Giannis. You go to the OKC game. That's the game that your kid wants to see. I know he wants to see that more than the Bucks anyway. Commit to it. Hope for the best. Worst case scenario, we get to come back and talk about Shea, and we get to talk about the Thunder, because I would love your takes on the Thunder. My good friend Rossi on the Shooting 2 podcast just recently said the one person in the NBA he'd probably be cool with dating his sister would be Josh Giddey. Thoughts for another day. You never know. But with that said, I would put my chips all in on that cheaper game for OKC. I think it's a win-win situation altogether for you. And if you're lucky, the creme de la creme, the hitter on that one is if the title's broken. As far as the title, those are all great names, Rip. But the guy that you didn't mention is who I think will be, when it's all said and done, on top of both LeBron and Kareem. He's in Dallas. He is the great hype of the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic, I think he's on track. I don't have his numbers in front of me, but I think he's on track to, if things continue. Now, 20-year careers are crazy. We know Luka likes beer. We know Luka likes, I don't know what they eat in Slovenia, Rick. Dumplings. Give me some stuff. Trout. Not 100% sure. Don't eat too much trout and beer, Luka, and let's stay in shape. I think he can be the guy. You think you're going to do my advice? OKC game? Just pull it, because you can probably get cheaper tickets right now. Just do the OKC game. What do you think?
No, I think it's great advice. I'm going to crunch the numbers and see what maybe LeBron would have to average and maybe factor in like him missing a game or two for load management. Like really analyze the schedule and see how many back-to-backs they have. And I think that's the move though, because I looked at those Bucks tickets and I think the cheapest one is like $250 just to get in the arena, which is, high even for Lakers game. So yeah, I think that's great advice on the OKC game.
Supply and demand, man. West Coast teams come once, East come twice. East Coast teams come once. There's a supply and demand and involved. I know for a fact that your oldest too has more insight to the analytics of this than you can while crunching the numbers. A little father-son moment with your mini Bob Myers you have over there. Good shit, Rip. Good shit. Lemons to lemonades already. Spending more time with the kids. God, I know you're going to land on your feet. I'm excited. The good news is we're going to keep everybody posted on the podcast throughout this wild ride. That's kind of cool about it too. So be sure to be vulnerable, Rip. You got to let us know when this sucks, when you feel embarrassed, when you feel good, when you get some hits. You got to keep us all posted on all the movement. Deal?
Hey, filing for unemployment, I'll walk everyone through it, man. I've already done some Googling and some research, and it's a hell of a process, but I know a lot of people have been through it, and I'll be on there in a couple weeks.
Good. So this is stupid, and I did the same thing with my wife as I'm doing to you. You guys have serious stuff going on. We just talked about it, real life stuff, probably more relatable to all the listeners out there. After you guys talk and say your stuff, sometimes you ask me how I'm feeling in life, what happened to me, and I got to compare some things in my life that just are not as serious, but holy shit, did I melt down like a crazy lunatic, man. And golfers out there, let me know if this is common or not. Regular humans out there, let me know if these are common thoughts or not. But just to paint a picture for you, for the listeners, and Rip knows that I'm going to take you back 2 weeks to start. I was going to this beautiful PGA Tour Championship, and I spent the day out there on Sunday, and I watched it on TV. It's the Tour Champions. It was won by Jon Rahm, and if you remember, Colin Morikawa should have won, had a huge meltdown. For about 8 days, in my head, I'm thinking about all these shots I'm going to play, how I'm going to do it, envisioning my body like these guys, professionals making $2 million, even when they miss the cut. Some of them. No, that's not true. $200,000 is a little bit more realistic. I'm in my head completely like I'm freaking Tiger Woods. I'm Tiger Foods, bro. I'm not even close. So picture that. I show up on this is Sunday. Morning football's going on. I don't care. I'm focused on golf. I've got my bag prepped the night before. I'm freaking ready. I got my Kirklands, my balls out. I'm ready. I got them marked with my DK on them, my little thing. I got a new shirt that my wife bought, Kimmy bought for me. It kind of felt a little bit like my mom dressed me because it's big. I'm a medium now. I'm not a large wife anymore. So the larges, they sit on me heavy, Rip. Okay. I got my new Nike golf shoes on. I get a good warm up. I get a little breakfast sando after a hole 1 par and a hole 2 bogey. And then I start to lose it on 3. And golfers know the first snowman, a snowman rip is an 8. Once you get an 8 on the scorecard, it's pretty much you're in fight or flight, and you can choose your direction. It's like a choose your own adventure novel. Okay. I get a snowman on 3. I get stuck just deep in the sand. It takes me 2 shots to get out, and I think I've 3 or 4 putt that bitch. My putting goes next completely. Literally, I don't have any idea at this point where I'm hitting the ball with my putter, Rip, and I don't even know where it's going to go. 3, 4, even some 5 fucking putts. I was to the point where I was the guy in our golf group who I might hit 1 out of 15 balls semi-decent, not even good, and the whole golf would be like, yeah, DK, that away. So embarrassed. So embarrassed. I'm pouting. I'm walking. I'm not even getting in the cart. I'm walking the whole hole, questioning my whole life, bro. Questioning. I'm not even, golf is a hobby. I'm not even good, listeners. I'm a 15, 16 handicap still. I just had some expectations in my head that were completely unrealistic. And I got good advice from our guy, Nick B, and my guy, Stanga, both really good golfers. Anytime you do that, and I think there's a good lesson in life too, anytime you kind of do that, you're setting yourself up for downfalls. Setting expectations that are unreal. I think setting goals are okay. Setting expectations anytime, you got to be more chill about it. Otherwise, when things start to go south, if you're not mentally ready to take care of yourself, which I wasn't, I was literally questioning life, Rip, over the silliest game ever. But I got on 18. I apologized to my group. I took my hat off, apologized to my good group, a little handshake. I let them know that I'm quitting the sport of golf. I'll never play again. And those bad boys got me back on the course the next day. Thank you. Thank you to my golf buddies, Jake, Will, Marshall. They got me back out on the course the next day. Not only did I play much better, I had tons of fun, and I won the glory hole game we played. It's called Glory Hole. I'll explain that later. But I won the game that day too. Moral of the story, I think, for me, is to not take myself so seriously, to have fun with my friends, hit a couple good shots, do my best to get better. I ruined about an hour out on Plantation Course while whales were jumping and their little fins were popping out of the water and their tails were shimmying. I got a couple tail breaches from the golf course. And I forgot about all that for about an hour and a half because I was doing why me. I wasn't doing for me, like Cliffy Kingsbury. And that's the moral of the story. So I tried again and I'm back. And I don't want to take it as serious, but I still want to take it serious, if you will, Rip. And golf for me, listeners, you're saying, why is Dana doing this golf stuff? What's the deal? Golf for me kind of became my sense of community, a foundation. I'm learning as I live in new cities, and I move to new cities about once every 2 years. I'm learning that you need to have a foundational base to then spider web out of, as far as meeting people, building community, developing some sort of social culture that you can have a base. You can't build a house without a foundation, Rip. So golf is that for me, and I decided that. And with that said, I'm going to continue to use golf as a base. I'm going to use it not only for my social life, Rip. I'm going to continue to use it for this podcast. I'm going to use it for business endeavors. It's something that I think that I can spider web out, but I can't do those other things until my foundation is built. And I want to be better mentally. I also want to be better at chipping. I also want to be better at putting. So that takes practicing and getting coaching. So I will keep the listeners updated throughout the year. I'm going to be a fucking 85. I'm going to be an 85 golfer. Okay.
Hey, there you go. There you go with the expectations, man. You just reverse what you
I did.
live life without expectations is the key here, I think. And you're usually a pretty even-keeled guy, but that string of text messages you sent on, I think Sunday night was, man, the emotions. It was depression. It was anger. I think it's something you go through when you're like getting a divorce or something like that. And you're talking about a round of golf. So really, when you look back on that, I think, like you said, it's a lesson, man. And going forward, you're gonna have those rounds. You're gonna have those days. I'm not a golfer, but I know it's an incredibly difficult sport. It's mostly mental, from what all these guys we talk to say. And if you can get past those little outbursts, or all that range of emotions that you went through in that hour and a half, then I think you're on a good road, and you'll be fine just going forward.
That's it. Rip, you nailed it. Yeah. See how quick I did expectations again? What a silly brain. Have fun. Continue to develop. Let it come naturally. We're gonna flow. We're gonna flow with the universe. The universe is letting us eat. That was a lot at the beginning of this podcast. Let's take a short break. We'll come back. I want to try Rip a 1-star business news segment. There's a restaurant that's selling. Maybe this could be your next endeavor. Who knows? I want to do a little bit of NFL. We'll be right back. All right, Rip, I want to do some quick NFL hitters and then move into this quick 1-star business news segment. It's a new segment, listeners. We're going to try it every week. We're going to talk about some business news now that Rip is laid off. He's looking for opportunities, so it's hitting us a little bit more. We're looking at things a little bit differently. NFL, though, it's hotter than ever. What a wild card weekend. It was an amazing wild card weekend. Rip, I knew you were actually sending me pictures of yourself at Chuck E. Cheese and then a Disney movie. You sent me a picture of you watching a Disney movie during the comeback of the first game I want to talk about, the Chargers Jaguars. Why?
You might have to carry this segment, yeah, because I was halfway through. I think it's called Matilda. It was movie night with my kids. Like I said, man, I'm spending a lot more time with my kids these days, and yeah, the NFL just sometimes takes a back seat. DK. I mean, I know the gist of what happened, but I wasn't fully invested in the game. I can tell you that much.
Well, the Chargers are going to charger. So, right, did you expect that, though? Did you expect them to be down 24-0 and then a complete second half? We expect them to charger, but that hard?
I'll tell you what, I got text message evidence of our guy, Firecrotch. Dan Young is one of the biggest Charger fans I know. I was keeping track on my phone during this Disney movie, the score. The Chargers were up 27-0. I texted him, Eckler is a touchdown god. Before they tragically blow this lead, when was the last time the Chargers won a playoff game? And they blew the lead, DK. So, I mean, I fully expected it, as I'm sure all Charger fans did. That's what happened.
That is what happened in a nutshell. Trevor Lawrence, the winning quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, had the exact right play post game for somebody who lives in the city of Jacksonville, Florida. Rip, if you're the man, the BMOC of Jacksonville, Florida, where do you go to celebrate your very first playoff win?
Strip club?
Good answer. That's silence. I don't know. Jacksonville, we do respect you a little bit more. But he went to the Waffle House.
I love it.
What an excellent play. I don't know if that's PR in Jacksonville. I don't know if that's Mr. Khan saying, hey, youngster, I got a plan. Go ahead and go to the Waffle House and get yourself 2 egg breakfast, 2 waffles well done. I don't know. Great play, though, by Trevor Lawrence. 5-star move.
True, like full 0 to hero movement, right? 4 interceptions in the first half, and then coming back from that 27-point deficit. I mean, full on 0 to hero right there.
Sticks with our theme of the show. Keep trying. You never know. You never fucking know. Ravens Bengals quickly. It was a Sunday night game. I think this game might have been Nielsen out the window. I feel like everybody and their mama was watching. Wasn't we were expecting the Bengals to really whoop. I don't think anybody thought anything different. There's only one thing I want to talk about. Huntley on the goal line with that 100-yard fumble. Mom, the Baltimore Ravens should not even be in this game. They have no players left who are really any good except for our guy, Mark Andrews. You can catch him on a prior episode of 1 Stars. But 1 yard line driving, momentum, our good cousin Mo taking control. for the Baltimore Ravens. And the play call on the 3-yard line, it's not the 1-yard line, is a QB sneak where he goes high, Rip. I don't like that anyway. He was supposed to go low, apparently, from the press conference, but he went high, got the ball knocked out of him, recovered by a local guy for the Cincinnati Bengals, ran it back 100 freaking yards. Unfortunately, that was it. It was a wrap after that. Cousin Mo took Cincinnati side. Joe Burrow is here to stay. But Joe Burrow also lost another offensive lineman, Rip. So quick question for you. Burrow did enough with really no O-line, and the running game is hard with no offensive line. I think he has 4 new guys that's going to have to play next week. Are they basically the Tampa Bay Bucks?
I'll never doubt Joe Burrow because he's been doing that basically for the last 2 years. And that run they went off on in the playoffs last year, knocking off, who was it, the Chiefs, the Bills, and I can't remember, maybe the Ravens. But yeah, I mean, they're going into Buffalo, which is crazy. You think they have no chance, but I'll never doubt Joey B, man. I was at Fleming's Steakhouse Sunday night with my wife, $86 special, surf and turf. That's what you do when you get laid off. You go to Fleming's. But out of the corner of my eye, there was the TV in the bar. I saw that no one's talking about this, but I saw Tyler Huntley running down the sideline, and he was so close to scoring that touchdown a couple plays before that I think if he could take that back, he would have probably risked his life to get in, given what happened on the next play. But then I saw that big man for Cincinnati rumbling 100 yards down the field at Fleming's there on the screen, and it was crazy, man. So yeah, the Bengals have some magic in playoff season. I'll tell you that much.
That's how the book should have been written. It should have been written like it happened. It's a wild game. It was that wild card weekend. That's why they call it wild. Wild that you're at Fleming's, Rip. I love it. How hot are those plates when they bring them out, by the way?
So hot. I burnt myself even after the warning that it was a hot plate. Just incredible. But it was surf and turf lobster tail, A plus on the lobster tail. Probably a 2-star steak actually, because I think I ordered the fillet. I should have ordered the ribeye. So
yeah, always get the ribeye with that bone in it when you're there. But yeah, those plates, man, all-time hottest plates. Fleming Steakhouse, respecto, 86 bones. I love that, Rip. That wreck of the week you just threw away. We're not going to talk about the Bucks Cowboys. Tampa Bay got whooped. Also, if you do want to hear, though, we have Rachaad White on a prior episode right before he got drafted, and we asked him ironically about playing with Tom Brady. Tom Brady is going to be in Las Vegas, folks. So this is the last time he'll be in Tampa Bay. But it wasn't that crazy of a game. I don't think we were surprised by it. What I was surprised by was Maher missing 4 extra points, to be honest with you there. That seems like a little bit of a situation for the Cowboys. And then I was surprised to wake up this morning and see that Giselle, Tom Brady's ex-wife, is now with her jiu-jitsu teacher. Rip, how scary are personal trainers and jiu-jitsu teachers just in life? Seems like they always steal your wives.
Oh, it's like the story you read the most, I think, Daily Mail or wherever, TMZ. It's like it happens every week, man. I can't believe it. But I mean, Tom Brady's already divorced or going through the process. So, and trust me, he's got no shortage of personal trainers and everything else lining up for him.
He can't wait to get the fuck out of Tampa. That's the NFL run. It's really good though. It's going to be a great Rip. Make a commitment to watch some of these games next week so we can kick it around a little bit more. But I do like the Fleming's take. I love that's very normal. Getting the corner view, getting just a little bit of a left eye before you get called out for watching football on your date night. Respect, brother. Respect. Quick new segment. Let's see how it plays. If it's shitty, listeners, we will not do this again. 1-star business news. Rip, global giant and super brand Subway. Yes, Subway sandwiches is looking to sell. They are for sale. They survived Jared. They survived sandal bread. They tricked people into thinking it was healthy for just decades and decades and decades. They got us eating honey oat teriyaki chicken in the microwave like it was nothing. For sale for 10 bill with a B. 10 billy goats, Rip. Who should buy this bad boy?
It looks like everything else these days is going to come down to like private equity or something, but I would love to see a guy like Tom Brady buy Subway. I mean, he's all over the place as it is, and I think it'd be good for the brand, man. It's just part of his plan to slowly take over America. I mean, I'm a huge Subway guy, probably now more so that I'm unemployed now, but I heard they're actually bringing back the $5 footlongs. There's a little catch. they're $5 if you buy one and then you buy another. So it's basically $10 for two. You have to buy two to get the $5 foot long.
It's
So
like a minimum night stay. Yeah, like they get you up and down.
I'm gonna be on that probably once a week at least. Well, for however long I'm unemployed, but yeah, I think an athlete should step in and buy it. I mean, they're everywhere. There's 37,000 plus locations worldwide. I mean, Subway's a monster. I think it's a good investment.
It's just such trash sandwiches, Rip, and it's just such trash that you even eat it weekly. It's just there's a lot more competition than there was back in the day. It was Subway and Blimpie from just years. We got Jersey Mike. They've taken over. Jersey Mike has taken over. Okay, this thing is. I drive through bumfuck Hawaii and I'm hitting 4 Jersey Mikes. Jimmy John's. I want to hate it, but I don't. Quality Sando. Subway may go the way of Blimpie. Do you think it could be a buy and sell the assets, Rip? Or I don't know the franchising model. This is a bad business take. I don't have all the answers to the questions. We need to get somebody on this show that knows. I know it's a franchise model, so I don't understand, what the end goal is here. But for me, I would like to see Safeway go a little bit more fresh. I would like to see them cut their meats fresh in front of my face. If you could do that for me, I could be interested in going back to Subway. That's our business news segment. That was very one star. That was our first one, listeners. Well, that was probably a swing and a miss, listeners. Maybe that was a foul ball that the outfielder dropped that just hit the line, and we get to go on first for that business news segment. We're going to be better. Rip, we got to commit to maybe having some deeper takes on the understandings of the guts of the business. I was going to say Jeff Bezos should buy it, but then that seems silly. I don't even know. Could be our one-star moments of the week. Let's do our one-star moments of the week. Rip, what do you got?
You mentioned I was at Chuck E. Cheese during that Chargers-Jags playoff game. It was for a 7-year-old's birthday party. And my one-star moment of the week happened at Chuck E. Cheese. I was with my neighbor, Frank. Shout out to Frank here in Long Beach, California. There was pizza served for the kids' party. It was a big long table. They brought out the pizza, so we're having some slices of pizzas. And we see there's a salad bar. So we see people like 50 feet away. We see people going to the salad bar. So we grab an empty plate. We go over to the salad bar. We're there for a couple minutes. We're trying to eat a little bit healthy. We have our full salad made on our plate, except for we haven't gotten to the dressing yet. And then one of the Chuck E. Cheese employees comes up and she says, "Hey, those red plates are only for pizza. You have to have a white plate to come to the salad bar." So apparently there's these packages that parents pay for that some include salad bar, some are just pizza and drinks. So our party had the just pizza. So Frank and we got kicked out of the salad bar at Chuck E. Cheese. So we try to hand her back the plates with a 75% of a salad on it. She goes, "Oh no, just keep what you have." But then we go back, there's no dressing. So we're just basically just eating dry lettuce and cucumbers and tomatoes, and got kicked out of the salad bar at Chuck E. Cheese. One-star moment of the week, DK.
Why didn't you just ask for ranch? Like people, I know at Chuck E. Cheese, everybody dips their pizza in ranch. Why don't you just pay the 50 cents for the ranch? Problem solved.
That's the thing, DK. I think we panicked a little bit, but I'm sure if we would have asked, can we just put some dressing on this? I'm sure the woman wouldn't have minded. It's like 1 cent worth of dressing, right? In the grand scheme of things. But we just panicked and we went back to the table, our heads down, eating dry lettuce and cucumbers, man. It was pure one-star moment right there.
Out with the red plate, the white station. Just bring a white plate from your crib. 1 star. Put it in your wife's purse next time. 1-star moment of the week for Rip and Frank. I'm going to keep it with food, and it involves you. Those Tyson's Dino Nuggets that you left here, Rip, remember those?
Yeah, they're all right. They're actually, we don't usually have those. That was a brand we can find in Hawaii, but we usually have some different ones. Did you finish them off?
1-star, terrible food, a la Subway. Makes sense. Here's the deal. When I worked at Bowitos in Tempe on Guadalupe and McClintock, I used to make a delicious, super delicious chicken ranch wrap, we'll call it, with chicken, some fried chicken, ranch, a little bit of spinach, and a little base of mashed potato and some corn. Delicious wrap. Wrap it up. Lovely little dish. So I decided, let me make these Dino Nuggets, man. So I tried to recreate that dish. 2 bites in, it's complete throwaway. It is just, those nuggets are just like pulp of chicken squeezed into cookie things, Rip. They are not it. They are not it. So you know what though? It turned into, because this episode is negative to positive too, and we're getting better in life. You know what it led though to? As I'm saying it out loud, it led me to manning up on my Costco purchase from 2 weeks ago, and grilling up 6 chicken breast fillets, which I then made a legit chicken ranch wrap, which was fabulous. And then I also had 3 other meals with the sea breast as a star of the protein. So there it is.
Well,
1 star moment to a 5-star.
I'm glad it led you to making healthier choices on your diet, man. But yeah, we like I said, that we're thrown off by those because it wasn't the brand we usually get, and kids definitely notice the subtleties between chicken nugget brands. So yeah, that 1-star Dino Nuggets from Tyson Foods, terrible.
They needed to be a little crunchier, have a little firmness. It was like eating a sponge. 1-star wreck of the week. We're going to wrap this podcast with, leave you something good that happened, made us feel good, any way, shape, or form. I'm going to kick it off because, I just did healthy. I'm going to take it back to being fat. I had lasagna last night for the first time, I think, in years. I was trying to think back to the last time I actually had lasagna. I had a corner piece. The sauce was perfectly sweet and tart. The bottom noodle had some burnt char on it that stretched up the side, just the sexy side, with some burnt and some cheese, and the mascarpone, inside with that fresh mozz on top. Let's go lasagna. Make it, order it. 5-star lasagna.
It's just a standard Italian dish is your wreck of the week. It might be worse than mine, man. I love it, but lasagna is 5-star.
You laugh. I guarantee you 10 people will have lasagna in their life this week from hearing me remind them that it is for another segment, could be the top Americana dish ever.
Lasagna always delicious, DK. I love it. My record of the week is, it's January. It's a new year. That means you should have a new air filter in your house. You're supposed to change them every 3 months. It's an air filter that comes down from your attic, typically, and runs through the air conditioner and heater. You're supposed to change it every 3 months. I lagged on mine. It's been 6 months. I took that thing out the other day. It was dark brown, filthy, dirty. So I put the new one in there, the new clean white air filter. So just a reminder that, it's an easy time, new year, change your air filters in your house. It saves a lot of dust mites and breathing troubles and all that stuff. So simple reminder, 1-star recommendation of the week, but it's words to live by. Change your air filters in January.
So lame, but so helpful as usual, Rip. I appreciate you. Laid off Rip in the house. If anybody feels sorry for Rip, give us 5 stars. If anybody woke up this morning and used the restroom, give us 5 stars. That was a failed joke. If you appreciate people who try for jokes and they don't hit more times than not, give us 5 stars. Or don't. Next week we're going to be back. I want to get Nick B back on. It's been too long, Nick B. And you're coming back on, and I'm gonna make sure that you have good audio, because I have some questions for you. I have some bones I want to pick, if you will. No guess, dry January. We're doing Nick B. Who else should we get on, Rip? You got any bones to pick while you're laid off?
Let's get Bezos on. Let's get Jared from Subway.
He's locked up. He's a chomo. We're not getting Jared on, listeners. Possibly our mothers. Possibly. We'll see. Stay tuned. Thank you, listeners, for letting me have all my feelings as a 40-year-old man baby and talking about them. Hit Rip up on LinkedIn if he can help you. I'm not joking. This is the most talented booker of C- to B+ celebrities in the city of Long Beach. Easy.
1-star for life.
Hit him on life. Richie Brand, get at him. 5 stars.
See you next week.